Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We got some very moody lighting this morning, and I could fix it, but I kind of like it. So I'm a little bit tired this morning, and I woke up, and it was one of those days, or rather, one of these months, where there's sort of the pressure on myself and the pressure on my coaching team and the pressure on this channel to bring people in for coaching. We haven't had anyone sign up for about a month and a half now. And usually in moments like this, I feel all sorts of pressure. I should have more people signing up for the coaching program. I should push more. But I'm on a mission to, rather than focus on what I can get and trying to get stuff from all of you, I'm sort of on a mission in life in general to give. If I'm sitting there saying I want people to give to me, why don't I go first? And I thought, what better way than to sit here and answer some of your questions, give you a bit of free coaching, have fun with that. And if any of you would like to then sign up for coaching, one of the $200 coaching calls or the coaching program, you are more than welcome. But if I want something, let me fucking go first. If I want people to give me something, let me give first. So let's get into it. So Goni Whitlove, and this was on a video I did called Cold Approach Isn't Fun for Me, and I basically talked about how you can make it fun to go outside and talk to women, tell them that they're pretty, and ask them for a phone number. And so Goni Whitlove here says, I started trying to do Cold Approach a decade ago when I was exiting my teens, and I still haven't had it pan out. Now, I have already read this comment, so I have, I'm kind of cheating here. But if that was all that I had heard from somebody, if somebody said to me, I tried doing a lot of approaching, I tried going outside and talking to women, and it didn't pan out. I've been doing this for long enough, guys, to know exactly what comes next. I say, how many women did you talk to? First of all, that's amazing. Good job. It's brilliant that you talked to any women at all. That's incredible. How many did you talk to? And I know the answer is going to be something like 50 or 100. Or the other thing that I know it's going to be is, did you improve yourself? Did you work on your appearance? Did you dress better? Did you lose some weight if you needed to? Did you hit the gym? Did you work on all of that? Did you work on your self-love as well? That's part of self-improvement. And the answer to one or both of those questions will be not really. I didn't do as much as I could have. And that's okay. There's no guilt or shame in that. But this stuff isn't complicated when we're talking about how do I meet women. Talk to a lot of women and improve yourself along the way. Same with women. Any of you that want to meet some decent guys, how do I meet a decent man? How do I get a beautiful, perfect man? Not that anyone's perfect, but you improve yourself and you talk to a lot of men. You find the ones that are looking for what you're looking for, whatever that might be. How do I build a business? You do a hell of a lot and you give people a lot of value. That's literally what I said at the start of this video. I'm sitting here today to give all of you some value. Some of you will decide to give me some money in return. That's how this works. So it's just a numbers game, but we often complicate it, and our pesky little emotions get in the way, don't they? And our limiting beliefs, and I'm not good enough, and I don't deserve to do this, and it will never work out, and it's not fair, and like all those little limiting beliefs get in the way. But this shit isn't complicated. Improve yourself and go do the thing a lot of times, and you'll eventually get really decent at it. It's funny, I literally watched a video this morning by PewDiePie. It was this video right here called I Drew Every Day for 365 Days. And he literally talked about how art and anything else is really just a numbers game. You do it a whole bunch of times, you get better. Here's a couple of his sketches at the very start. You can see them on the right-hand side. Like, he's clearly not an artist. He draws about the same talent level that I draw at, aka never done it before in my entire life since I was a kid. And, here's some of his early other ones. He's just kind of mucking around and drawing shit. And then here is how he is at the end of or towards the end of the project, like really freaking good. Here's his day 365, the 365th one he drew. Isn't that fucking incredible? From the guy who could not even draw at the start. Here's another one he did towards the end. That's pretty freaking incredible. I like this one as well. So clearly he became pretty freaking decent at it. How? By just doing it for 365 days. I've talked about this with my own, photography. Here's my photography. You can find it at handyandypandy.com. That was my name that I used for my photography. And look, I got pretty decent at photography because I just did a 365-day project and a lot more than that. But I just took a bunch of photos and practiced Photoshop and I got pretty freaking decent, Just this stuff is literally practice, but we often complicate it, especially when it comes to dating. I really like this one. That was one of my favorite ones I did. With dating, we complicate it because there's emotions and we take things very personally, and we feel personally hurt if someone doesn't want to be with us. We take that as a judgment of ourselves, and we blame that on the other person. We say the other person is judging me, they rejected me. No, you're judging yourself and then blaming them. If you love yourself, like truly like and love yourself, you don't care if someone doesn't want to be with you. How could you give a shit? You're like, I don't care. I like being with me. I don't need anyone to be with me. I get to be with me. What a blessing. Isn't that amazing? And if someone wants to join me on this quest, then great. Come along for the ride. But if nobody wants to join me on this ride, that's cool. Then yes, that's the destination that you get to. Eventually you get to that point of not caring whether or not other people want to be with you or not. It takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of practice. But yeah, that is the end that we're all sort of aiming for. I think all of us want that beautiful self-love, that moment of like, you know what? I'm okay as myself. If someone wants to be with me, that's beautiful. If they don't, that's beautiful too. We're all aiming towards that, but it is a bit of a journey, like I said. So the point that I'm making in a very roundabout way is this is all just a numbers game. And when someone tells me cold approach never worked out for me or dating apps never worked out for me, it's like, fair enough. You don't have to do them. I'm not going to sit here and tell any of you what to do, but they all work out if you put in the effort. Like anyone can build a relationship. Anyone can have sex if that's what they want. Anyone can build a business or make money. Like there's no exceptions to that. It's just that most people quit halfway through, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what most people do. But y'all are not most people. You all are hardworking, courageous legends. All right. So he goes on to say, and again, I already cheated because I read this comment, but he goes on to say, admittedly, I've only properly asked out maybe 50 girls. Yeah. And 50 girls is incredible. Like that is so utterly amazing. Do you realize how many more that is than the average person? And nothing against the average person, but it can be fucking terrifying. That's why the average person doesn't talk to strangers. We teach our children, stranger danger, don't talk to anyone you don't know. Yeah, and never meet anyone ever. Like how's that how the fuck would you ever function in a society? But I understand why parents say that. They're scared of pedophiles and all sorts of crazy shit. But yeah, like we teach ourselves or we teach our children stranger danger. And so most people aren't going out there and approaching. So the fact you did 50 is utterly, insanely incredible and courageous. Let's give claps to Mr. Goonie Whitlow. That's incredible. Or Gonnie Whitlow. So you go on to say, I missed out on a whole lot more. It doesn't matter how much you missed out on. You talked to 50 people. That's insane. That's incredible. Including one really beautiful girl who was practically throwing herself at me in uni during an hour-long break in between classes, and I couldn't even summon the courage to say one word to her. That's okay. We all have stories like that. I've told my story of a girl that I worked with. She was like 18, 19, and we worked at like a department store at like Target, and she would make excuses just all the time to come and talk to me, constantly, all the time. She was always in my department, even though she didn't work there. She would sometimes even get in trouble for constantly just being in my department. And they were like, hey, like, you're not in your department. You need to go to your department and do the work that we're paying you to do. Why are you over here chatting with Andy? Stop talking to Andy. This happened for like a year. And she would constantly ask me questions of like, so like, what are you doing on the weekend? What are you doing tonight? What do you like, just always. And I was blind to all of that. I was very insecure at that point. I didn't have a lot of confidence. This is when I was younger. I was like, I don't know, 20 something. And yeah, she just made all these excuses to talk to me and constantly ask me. She would even like jokingly be like, so are you probably going to go out on the weekend with your girlfriend, right? And I'd be like, I don't have a girlfriend. She'd be like, oh, okay, ha ha ha. Like she was just like any girls listening are probably cringing right now because they're like, holy fuck, bro. She was basically throwing herself at you. But I couldn't see the signals. I couldn't read the signs. And I didn't believe in myself enough to even consider that someone might like me. And it all culminated in one day when the store had closed and there was no customers in there whatsoever. There was only like maybe 5 staff in there and they were off doing other shit. And I was closing down my department and I worked in the changing rooms, like the fitting rooms where you try on clothes and shit like that. And she came up to me and she's like, do you mind if I try some stuff on? I was like, yeah, go for it, whatever. Like, I don't care. So I'm closing my department down and she goes in there and then she comes out like 5 minutes later wearing fucking lingerie, like just wearing this black fucking incredibly sexy lingerie that's showing off her curves and her titties and all of that. And she literally starts modeling it for me. And she's like, what do you think? And because I was innocent and naive and didn't know anything, I was just like, holy shit, a girl is wearing lingerie in front of you. Do not look, do not look, do not objectify her, do not look. You'll go to jail. It's bad. Fucking, you'll get harassment from HR. Like, you're going to get fired. Don't look at her. And so I kind of look and I was like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah, it's great. And then I just keep doing what I'm doing. My heart is racing a million miles an hour. And she goes away and then she comes back a minute or two later. Now she's wearing an even sexier one, like red. And she's literally fucking showing it off for me, like modeling in different poses for me, trying to get my fucking attention. And she's like, what do you think? And I was just like, again, not looking. I was like, oh, it's great. And she ended up getting dressed. She goes home. I thought nothing of it. And then years later, once I knew a little bit more, I had left that town. That was like the old town that I grew up in. And I had come back to live for like a year. And I remember that she found out that I was in town and she added me on Facebook. And I thought nothing of it, but I sent her a message. And at that point, I had worked on honesty and stuff like that. So I sent her a DM and I was just like, hey, great to see you again. I remember we used to work together. She's like, yeah, ha ha ha, good times, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of had a crush on you because I did. I really liked her. I had a crush on her. I thought she was insanely fucking sexy. It's part of why I didn't want to look at her with the lingerie. I was scared of my own feelings. And she just kind of like went crazy. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, what? And she's like, you had a crush on me. Are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, no, like I did. Is that okay? And she was like, I had a crush on you. And I was like, no, you didn't. Get out of here. Like, I would have noticed. And she was like, are you fucking kidding me? I tried on lingerie for you in front of you. And then it clicked. And I was like, oh, God. Wait, you did? Holy shit. No, 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 no. Oh, my fucking God. Oh, my God. And then, long story short, we ended up hooking up. It was a one-time thing. She had her own stuff going on, and so did I at the time. And so we only saw each other once. But yeah, holy shit. It was really good sex. It was really, really, really like fireworks. Holy shit. But yeah, that's my little story of someone that literally threw herself at me. Like, I don't know what more she's supposed to do. She's supposed to just like fucking start making out with me? No, she would get fired for harassment if I didn't want that. So I don't know what more she's supposed to do. That's incredibly fucking courageous to try on lingerie in the workplace in front of someone else when there are still some staff members working. They weren't around our area, but they're still in the store. There's security cameras and shit. She tried on lingerie. She came out of the fitting rooms to the area where I was, where there are security cameras, and she was trying on lingerie for me and modeling it. Like, that's fucking ballsy. I don't know what more she's supposed to do. So, my brother, it is okay that you had a beautiful girl who was throwing herself at you. That's okay. A lot of us have a story like that. A lot of girls have stories like that too, where some handsome, attractive guy hits on them, asks them out, tells them that she likes or he likes her, and she kind of just fumbles the ball, or she's too nervous, or she rejects him because she wants to, I don't know, make herself feel better. Lots of us have these stories, my brother. That's okay. Like, you're not a coward. You go on to say, I regret my cowardice a lot. You weren't a coward, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are you supposed to do? Just suddenly be brave? Like, yes, I know that we glamorize that idea, especially in movies and shit like that, and books and TV, where like you should just knuckle or nut up and just become really fucking brave. It often doesn't work like that. You can think of bravery rather than thinking of it as something that you just have to do in the moment, which, yes, sometimes it is like that. But think of bravery or courage as a skill that you slowly level up in your lifetime. And if you haven't been practicing leveling it up, which the vast majority of human beings have not, the vast majority of people on this planet don't do things that scare them. In fact, they run away from that. They self-medicate, they drink alcohol, they watch Netflix, they watch the news so they can constantly be afraid and all of that kind of stuff. Most people don't do stuff that scares them. They don't try and live a life of abundance and joy. So most people haven't practiced their courage. You were one of those people, like you hadn't really practiced your courage, or you would have in some ways. So to be clear, you've asked 50 girls. That's incredibly courageous. But you probably haven't made a mission of every day waking up and doing something that scares you. I have done that, like me, Andy, for the last it's been like 10 or 15, 10 years, I guess, at this point, of waking up every day and doing something that kind of scares me a little bit or is a little bit uncomfortable because I get a big payoff from doing that. It helps make me braver. It helps make me more courageous. This YouTube channel was one of the scariest things I ever did. This was fucking terrifying. Like, any of you right now, think about if I said to you, go start a YouTube channel right now, sit down in front of the camera and you got to talk and be interesting. And people are going to probably judge it one way or the other. Go do that. That's fucking terrifying. Even just the thought of that is terrifying, but when you actually sit down in front of the camera, holy shit, that's very confronting. It's not now, but it was at the start. And so I've spent my last 10 years, the last decade, doing things that scare me. That's what all my or most of my coaching clients do as well. That's what all the other coaches in the program do. It's what a lot of you do. And you, my friend, have already done that. You asked out 50 girls. That probably terrified the shit out of you. So you're not a coward. You've been practicing the skill of courage. And if you had at that point been practicing it for a long time, and no shame in that, like don't beat yourself up because you didn't do that. But if you had been, like if that was who you were at that point in time, you would have been more courageous. You would have done it. Like you're not a coward. You don't have cowardice. You just hadn't built courage. It's something that you build. We're playing a video game here, like an RPG. You're leveling up your character's stats, and one of those stats is courage. You just hadn't hit the required level to be able to ask out this girl. Maybe you needed to be, let's get nerdy here. Maybe you needed to be a level 15 courage fucking legend. Let's go fucking Dungeons and Dragons references for any of you nerds. You needed to be a fucking barbarian, level 15, who just charges in there and goes, hey, you're pretty. What's up? You're cute. You hadn't got to that required level yet. You were maybe a level 5 in terms of courage. That's cool. That's where most people are. Most people are like a level fucking probably 5 or 10, with like 100 levels being the total. Most people are at a level 5 their entire life. And so you just hadn't practiced, brother, but you weren't a coward. And then we get to the crux of probably what we're going to talk about here, which is, I regret my cowardice a lot, but at the same time, it feels kind of pointless now that I'm entering my 30s. So, my brother, if you say that something is pointless, then yes, you will be correct. If you say that something has a point to it, then yes, you will be correct. We're all just sort of making up meaning, which is what the word pointless means. You're saying it has no meaning. It won't give me anything. There'll be no meaning in it. There'll be no point to it. We're all kind of just going through life, making up a point, making up meaning. That's all we're doing. We're grasping at meaning, and for some people, that's religion. For people like me, that's spirituality and self-improvement and giving to other people, and I guess you could say knowledge and learning as well. For other people, the meaning will be, I want to start a family and raise a child and pass my knowledge on to that person. And then it's almost like I get to be ethereal. I get to be like lasting longer than I would in one lifetime because I get to pass it on to my child. That's why most people have children. Or you might do what I'm doing. I'm not going to have kids. I've had a vasectomy. But how I'm becoming a little bit more ethereal, I guess. And when I say ethereal, maybe that's not the right word, but I think you get what I mean. My spirit gets to pass on, beyond this body. My knowledge gets to pass on. I get to have an influence on the human race. Part of how I'm doing that is these videos, my coaching program, writing like the Play to Win video course and stuff like that, which is very relevant because in the Play to Win video course, there is this chapter called Everything is a Story, and you're in control of the stories that you tell. And so if we take that idea and apply it to what you just said, approaching would be kind of pointless now that I'm in my 30s, that's a story. And you can tell that story. You can say that approaching is a waste when you're in your 30s, which, by the way, I didn't even start this shit until 28. I didn't really start going outside and talking to women until like 29, maybe 30. And so I was your age when I was really getting started with going outside and talking to girls. I started when I was like 28. So when I was 30, 31, I was really going hard with the numbers game. It wasn't pointless. I could have told that story. And how would that story have made me feel? It probably would have made me feel very hopeless. I'm sure you feel pretty fucking hopeless. It probably would have made me feel really down on myself, like I'm not good enough, like I'm never going to have the things that other people have. And that's self-inflicted. That would be self-inflicted. If you say something's pointless and then you don't try, then yeah, you don't get the thing. If you don't go outside and say hello to a bunch of women, then yes, you won't meet any women. That's such an obvious statement, but that self-fulfilling prophecy, as it's called, we do that to ourselves. We say it's hopeless, so I won't try because what's the point? It won't work out. And then we all but guarantee it doesn't work out because we didn't go outside and talk to anyone. Or we say, I can't build a business. It's hopeless. It won't work out. I'm too old right now. It's too late for me. And then we don't really go all in. We kind of half-ass it, or we do a little bit. And, to give you credit, you talk to 50 women. That's amazing. But that's a good start. That's a start. And so we say, it won't work out, it's hopeless, what's the point? And then we make it come true. And so you saying it's pointless, you're correct. Like you will be correct. If you truly believe it's pointless, then yeah, you will make that come true. And then you will say that you are right because our egos, our brains like to say that they're right. And so we actually get a payoff. It's a very funny, weird payoff. But we get a payoff from saying it's pointless and it won't work and I'm too much of a loser and there's no point, and then we don't try. and then it comes true. And we go, see, I was right. I told you it was too late for me. Or we have a very negative mindset, which you saying it's pointless, and you're opening up, good job opening up, but you saying that it's pointless, even if you walk up to women, you will in the back of your mind be going, this is pointless. What's the point? And so you will show up with that energy. You will show up with a depressed apathy, which is what the word pointless or hopeless or it won't work, any of that, is depression and it's a depressed type of apathy. Depressed just meaning like almost pushed down. Your energy is pushed down into apathy. You're going to show up and be like, hey, you're really cute. I wanted to come say hey. And she's like, oh, thank you. And you're like, yeah. Anyway, like, what are you up to today? And she's like, oh, I don't know. I'm just shopping. And you're like, oh, cool. Anyway, can I get your number? And she'll be like, maybe not. Because you're fucking depressed and apathetic. You don't sound excited to talk to her. Why the fuck would she want to go on a date with you? But if you can let go of that feeling of like it's pointless, which you'll either let go of that or you won't. I'm not going to tell you that you have to let go of it. You can do whatever you want, my friend. But if you didn't have that, if you were too stupid to know that it's kind of pointless now, which that's not stupid, that's humility. But you right now think your brain thinks you're very clever for knowing that it's pointless or feeling like it's pointless. Our brains love to be clever. Our brains and our ego love to be right. They love to stay a statement and then make it come true and then say, see, I was right. Like our brains just love that fucking payoff, that feeling of saying that we were right, predicting something and then saying that we were correct. We get such a payoff from that. How many of you love to say, I told you so? That is something that's taken me the better part of like 10 years to let go of, telling people, I told you so. Like that is literally the mechanism right there. We love to tell people something and then it comes true and we go, I told you so. And so if you let go of that payoff of like, it's pointless now, and then you don't try, and then you don't get the thing, and then you go, see, I told you, I told myself that it was pointless. See, I was correct, which you would have made come true by not going outside and talking to women. If you let go of that, and you choose to go outside and show up with an open mind. And instead of saying, I know, like I know that it's hopeless, and you didn't say I know, you said it feels kind of pointless. But there's a feeling inside you, if you're honest, your brain and your heart is telling you, I know it's pointless. I'm in my 30s, I know it's pointless. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said the statement. You would have gone outside and tried. And so there's a part of us that really thinks it knows. We're like, nah, it's too late. I'm 30. And I know I've seen all this counter evidence on Andy's channel. You know, he didn't really start getting his shit together till his 30s. He's put all these testimonials up and interviews from clients who were in their 30s and even later than that, 40s and 50s sometimes. But I'm going to dismiss all that. I know that it won't work out for me. But if you can let go of that, you will show up to each approach if that's what you choose to do. And you don't have to approach, but if you choose to show up to approach people, you will show up with an energy of just, I don't know. A curious mindset. You know, I say it all the time. I have no expectations, only curiosity. You right now are full of expectations. Your brain, and it's okay, our brains like to do this, your brain is saying, I know it's pointless. I'm in my 30s, bro, it's pointless. And so you're showing up with expectations. You expect that it won't work out. You expect that it will be pointless. How the fuck could you know something you haven't even done yet? Your brain is literally lying to you and saying, I know that it's pointless. How? You haven't done it. You might be pleasantly surprised. If you went outside and open-mindedly and open-heartedly hit on 500 women, which might take you a year, might take you longer than that, but if you went and hit on 500 women, your life would be drastically changed. If you hit on 100 more women, which would be double what you've already done. So if you did what you've already done and then did it again, so 100 more women from where you are right now, your life would be drastically changed because you would meet a couple of, or quite a few, really genuinely beautiful, lovely human beings who would open your mind up about the world and about yourself and about other human beings. You would build connections, even if you just talk to people for 5 minutes, that you would remember for the rest of your life. How do I know that? Because I still remember from like, what is it now? Like 9 years ago, some of my first approaches, I can still remember those people vividly and the impact they had on my life and how much they made me realize, holy shit, some of my limiting beliefs are wrong. I thought I was correct that I'm not good enough to hit on women. I thought all the same things as you, brother. I thought it's kind of pointless now. I'm in my 30s. Who would talk to a 30-year-old man? Spoiler alert, lots of people. But I felt the same hopelessness, and so many of my coaching clients do, especially the guys in their 30s. But some of those people that I first talked to, even though I didn't think it would work out, genuinely had a big impact on my life. And I'm not even talking about the people that gave me a phone number and I went on a date with. And I'm definitely not even talking about the people I had sex with. I'm just talking about some human beings, some of my fellow human beings that I talked to and had beautiful connections with, even just for 5 or 10 minutes. And they genuinely changed my life for the better. But that only happens if we show up with no expectations. If you show up full of expectations, which you have right now, you have expectations that it's too late for you, it won't work, what's the point? It'll be pointless. Yeah, you probably won't get as many of those beautiful experiences. You'll still get some, but you'll be too blinded by your own being right, because your brain wants to be right. All of our brains want to be right. You'll be too blinded by your narrative that you have right now that it's pointless. You won't even notice the little bit of progress that you're making each day. You won't notice the beautiful connections that you're having with women. These things require a little bit more open-mindedness. And I'm not beating you up for not being open-minded. That wouldn't be very open-minded of me. But open-mindedness and humility, which is sort of what you're lacking here, like our brains by default lack humility. It is a skill we need to level up. And humility just means, I don't know. Have the humility to say, I don't know if this is pointless or not. And you've kind of already half said that by saying it feels kind of pointless now, rather than saying, I know it's pointless. So you're already pretty decent at being humble. It takes some humility to say, I know these are just my feelings, rather than the truth. I'm not making a declarative statement of fact. I'm saying these are my feelings. That's already beautiful humility, my friend. And then we just practice a little bit more. But you'll either go outside and you'll talk to women, or you won't. But either way, your life can be beautiful, my brother. I think right now you're probably putting a lot of pressure on yourself that I'm reading between the lines here. My life won't be happy unless I do this thing, or unless I find a point to my life, or unless I, you go on to say work out at the gym. So let's keep reading. By the way, I didn't say this at the start, but beautiful job opening up here, my man. This is like really deep shit. This is shit that people generally don't open up to each other about, or they'll only tell their closest confidant, their closest friend, over a couple of beers or something. So this is really brave shit to be putting on the internet, my brother. Like, really good job. All right, let's keep reading. So you go on to say, I don't know why the hell I even bother trying to work out. Watch my diet, take care of my grooming to look better when I'm still scared shitless of trying to talk to girls in their early 20s or even some 18 to 19-year-olds, lest I get a reputation. What, a reputation as being courageous? Yeah, I wouldn't want that reputation either. Holy shit. That could damage your reputation as a apathetic person. That would get in the way, wouldn't it? Pesky reputation of being a courageous person who does things that scare him. Horrible reputation. I'd hate that. That'd be awful. I'm joking with you, but that's the reputation that a lot of us on the internet would give you, brother. If you went outside and talked to people that you didn't know and tried to make friends and tried to build relationships and tried to get phone numbers and tried to see if people wanted to have sex with you, I'm assuming that's what you want, and you were honest and upfront about all of that, man, what a reputation we would give you. We would give you a reputation that I've already given you, by the way. I've already told you multiple times that you're courageous for doing it 50 times, so you would build that reputation. Understand that the word reputation is really just, drum roll please, a story, and everything is just a story, and you're in control of the stories that you tell. Your reputation is not some statement of fact that is like objective. What does the word reputation mean? It's funny that we use the word reputation and we try and make it objective. We say, no, reputation is objective. Like if a bunch of people said that I was a bad person, that would be my reputation. That would be a statement of fact. Motherfucker, there are people that will call me a criminal. I literally went to jail when I was 19. So I have a reputation as a criminal amongst some people. They can call me that, but that's just their fucking opinion, or that is one part of me that you could say. That is a label you could put on me. You could also put a label on me that I am a boyfriend. That is a label that Imogen puts on me. I have a reputation as a boyfriend. And she would say I have a reputation as an incredibly kind, loving boyfriend. That's her reputation of me. My friends would say that I'm a very ambitious, self-improvement person. Like, that's my reputation amongst them. But you're making it sound like a reputation is some label that's stuck on you for life. No, it's just some person's subjective opinion of you. In other words, as I'm showing on the screen, it is a story. And you are in control of the stories that you tell about yourself. Now, other people will tell different stories about you. Cool, let them. Some people might tell a story that it's weird that you're 30 and you're hitting on 18 to 19-year-olds. You must be some sort of pedophile. You're not. They're legal age. They are consenting. You are asking them if they would like to join you for a drink. You are being upfront and honest. I don't understand how that could ever be whatever people will say it of it. But fair enough. People like to infantilize. Is that the right word? People like to infantilize 18 to 21-year-olds, and they like to say they're stupid, they're blah, 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 too dumb to know anything. Ha, ha, ha. It's not very kind to 18 to 21-year-olds, but whatever. But that would be one opinion. Another opinion might be, wow, bro, you're really courageous for doing this thing that scares you. That would be the opinion that I would have of you. And if you did it in a very honest and upfront way, where you were very kind and compassionate and basically just nice to the women that you hit on, regardless of their age, I guess as long as they're legal age, then I would say, wow, isn't that beautiful? You're spreading some joy throughout the world. You're being very kind and compassionate and nice to people. You're showing some of these women that men can be very kind and nice to them, that the dating process can be very fun and you can be very open-minded and open-hearted. That would be beautiful. You would get a reputation with me, like my opinion of you, my story of you, would be one of a courageous legend doing something that terrifies him. And so it's funny that we use the word reputation as if it's some objective thing. Like I would get some objective statement of fact made about me that I'm a bad person or I'm creepy or I'm weird. You go on to say, especially with how insane the laws are starting to get in Australia. Can you stop reading the news? I can fucking tell that you're reading the news. Stop. That's all I'm going to say on that. Just fucking stop. Turn the TV off, bro. Don't go on any news channel. Block every news feed on every social media app you are on, and you will find that life is not the way that the news and social media presents it. It is also not the way that feminists present it. It is not the way that anti-feminists or anti-SJW, like manosphere people, present it. They are presenting a very, 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 very biased view of the world. Stop watching people like Andrew Tate if you're doing that. Stop watching any of this content that makes you feel worse after you watch it. That is such a low barrier for entry, but the vast majority, maybe that's a strong statement, a hell of a lot of what is on TV and a lot of social media can't reach that low bar of did you feel better after you consumed this? Stop and think about that for a second. After you read whatever news article that you've read to study the law, after you've watched whatever video or news channel you've watched, take a deep breath and say, do I feel better or worse? Do I feel more fear, anxiety, pain, suffering, all of that? And if you're not sure what I mean by better, just look at the red on the screen right now. This is the map of consciousness, maybe our psychologist, David Hawkins. Look at the red emotions down the bottom. Do I feel any more of those after I consumed this piece of content? If the answer is yes, then turn it fucking off. If you feel any more of the yellow ones, a bit more courage, a bit more neutrality, a bit more willingness and acceptance, then great, keep watching it. If you feel more of the blue ones, reason just means logic and stoicism and stuff like that. But if I feel any of the blue emotions, after I consume this piece of content, then holy shit, let me run towards that. If you can recreate your life, and you'll either do this or you won't, it's up to you, but maybe I'll just speak to what I've done. I have systematically gone through my entire life, all of my friendships, all of my relationships, every piece of media that I consume, every song that I have saved in my liked playlist in Spotify, every YouTube channel that I watch, every piece of content that I consume, and I have systematically made sure that it only is in the blue, or I guess a little bit in the yellow sometimes, but I prefer to just stick to the blue these days. You might like the yellow a little bit more if you're not super high on this map of consciousness at the moment. But I have systematically cut out everything that makes me feel anything red. In other words, I have cut out negativity from my life. That is part of why I am successful. It is probably the biggest reason why I am successful. Like probably that more than anything else I have ever done. I have systematically said, how does this piece of content make me feel? Does it make me feel any of the red or a lot, like predominantly the red emotions down the bottom? If it does, goodbye. I don't have time for that. This is my one life. This is my one chance at happiness. Maybe there's reincarnation. Maybe there's karma. I don't fucking know. But right now, this is what I'm living. I'm living in this body called Andy, in this mind called Andy. I don't have time for the red emotions. I don't have time for that shit. I just literally don't have time for that shit. And so when you say, especially with how the laws are starting to get in Australia, you don't have time for that shit, brother. You want to sit around petrified of laws, then great, do that. And I'm not saying to ignore your fears. You clearly have a fear of law and getting in trouble and all of that. So, as I talk about in the Play to Win video course, I mean, really, you could just play this chapter. Go watch this chapter of the Play to Win video course, Overcoming Fear, Limiting Beliefs, and Self-Doubt. That chapter would help you in particular, and any of you feeling similar, more than anything. But this chapter as well. We are here to play to win instead of playing not to lose. Being petrified of laws and what if something happens, and obviously follow the law and all of that shit. But sitting around being petrified of what might happen is playing not to lose. You're saying, I don't want to lose. I got to avoid losing at all costs. Yeah, and you'll never win. We're here to win, okay? And so how you would focus on winning is, instead of saying, I'm petrified of the law, I'm petrified of a reputation, again, follow all laws and all of that shit. But instead of saying, I'm terrified of it, no, I'm going to focus on what I want. What do I want? Well, I would like to follow the law. I would like to be kind to other people. I would like to follow, rather than obsessing about the law and what if something bad happens to me, I would like to focus on being proud of who I am and being a kind person and going around with compassion. Understand that most laws are there to help gently guide you towards being compassionate and kind to other people. Now, the laws do, for the most part, an okay job at that. Most of the law is very dry and uncaring and not very compassionate and all of that. But the idea of laws, particularly in Australia, I live in Australia too, the idea of laws, particularly in most Western countries, is to nudge people gently towards what is called the golden rule. And the golden rule is basically, I will treat other people the way that I would want to be treated myself. That is the point of laws. But we can go one step way beyond that. Laws are just like neutral for the most part. We can go way beyond that and say, I want to play to win. Part of how I'm going to win is going around being kind and compassionate to people. Like, just following the laws doesn't make you a great person. Just following the law makes you fucking neutral. You did the bare minimum. Congratulations. And that's beautiful. I'm someone that went to prison. I didn't follow the law. But just following the law is like the bare minimum. But we can go so much beyond that, and we can go out there and make people's day better. We can walk up to women and have kindness and compassion in our heart, and we can try and make their day better and say, hey, you're really pretty. And if they're not interested, we can say, I hope you have a beautiful day. It was really nice to talk to you. Any of them that are interested in us, we can be honest with them and upfront, tell them what we're looking for, go on dates with them. If they don't want to do something, we just say, hey, that's beautiful. What would you like to do? I don't want to force you to do something you don't want to do. So what do you want to do? Let's talk about it. And then move in that direction of kindness, compassion, honesty, being upfront, getting what we want and ensuring that the other person gets what they want, leaving every person better than we found them. That's kind of a Mother Teresa quote for you. Spread love wherever you go. Let no person come to you without leaving a little better off. That's Mother Teresa. We can go around doing that. So instead of just following the law and being terrified of the law, transcend the law. Be better than the law. Go around genuinely trying to make other people's lives better, including your own, maybe even especially your own. Go around making your life better, your life happier, and the lives of everyone that you interact with better. Then you're not terrified of the fucking law because you're like, I know who I am. I walk around making the world a kinder, more generous, more gentle, more loving, more peaceful, more sexy place. I go around trying to add value to the lives of everyone that I interact with. I'm not scared of the fucking law. I know who I am. And if the law wanted to put me in jail, which is basically your fear here is the laws are becoming insane, and I'm scared that I will go to jail for something insane. Cool. You'll know who you are. You'll sit in that prison cell and be like, I have spent the last few years walking around trying to make the world a kinder, more compassionate, more gentle place. I don't care if they put me in prison. Great, I will sit in here and make prison a kinder, more compassionate, more gentle, loving place. Your big fear right now is I'm so scared that I'll get a negative reputation. Cool, that's just an opinion. And that I'll go to jail. I've been to jail. You live in Australia, so do I. The prisons in Australia are pretty fucking nice, bro. I was in there for 6 months. It was a fucking dream, brother. I spent that 6 months reading like fucking 10 self-help books a week, literally learning to meditate and make myself a better person and make up for what I had done and all of that sort of stuff. And so your big fear of like, I'm terrified that I'll go to prison. It's like, bro, that could be the best thing that could ever happen to you. Again, everything is just a story, and you're in control of the stories that you could tell or that you tell. You could tell a story that prison could be a good thing for me. How do I fucking know? Again, it's that part of our brain that says it knows. And your brain right now, as a statement of fact, it's trying to tell you a statement of fact. It's trying to tell you, I know that prison would be bad. No, you don't. You've never fucking been. I have been. And if you tell a positive story about prison, it can be a beautiful, transcendent experience. I talked about this in the couple of videos that I did on my channel. You can just search for the word prison. I talked about how it literally made me a better person, which is the function that prison is trying to accomplish. It doesn't always get there. It doesn't do a great job of that. But I used it because I told a positive story. I used it as like, all right, you're in here for 6 months. You better get your shit together, Andy. You've hurt someone. You better make up for that. But yeah, man, it's crazy how our brains want to just tell us a whole bunch of facts that we don't even realize our brain is telling us. Your brain is telling you that the laws are getting insane. That's just a story. It's an opinion that you've made. Your brain is telling you that law and following the law is the most important thing. That's what most people believe. They literally just believe if I follow the law, then I'm a good person. No, you've done the neutral thing. There's levels way beyond that where we go around trying to add to the lives of other people. You don't have to do that, by the way. Do whatever you want. But there's levels above just following the law. Your brain has told you as a statement of fact that prison would be a bad thing. That's kind of the implied statement here. You don't fucking know. You've probably never been. If you have been, then apologies. But even then, that was just a story that you told. Oh, this sucks. Well, then, yeah, you're correct. And prison sucks. There were lots of people when I was in prison that said this was awful and they were a victim and it was not fair and I shouldn't be in here and this sucks and why is the government doing this to me? And yeah, prison sucked for them. They were correct. There were lots of us. We formed a little group where we basically built a little self-improvement group. And we were like, all right, we've done some bad shit. We better make up for this. How are we going to do that? And prison was the most transcendent, beautiful experience. There was a group of about 20 of us. We basically formed this little secular group. We weren't really religious, though we did have a couple of religious people in there. And I don't know why I'm pointing out the religious bit of it, but basically I'm just saying we formed almost like a transcendent spiritual group, but without the spirituality stuff, and we just dedicated ourselves to self-improvement. And so prison was the most beautiful thing ever. We told a story that prison was an opportunity, and it was. We were correct. Other people told a story that prison was awful, and it was for them. They were correct. So you're correct no matter what you say. You bring it into fruition. Like words are like magic spells. If you say the law is insane, you will be correct. You'll go hunting for evidence that the law is insane. If you say prison is bad, you will be correct. If you say I'll get a bad reputation if I talk to 18 to 20-year-old women, then you will be correct. Like you will literally be correct. There are some women that will say, oh, you're too old for me. And you'll go, see, I knew it. Oh my God, I'm going to go to jail. I hit on a 20-year-old. Oh my God, there's something wrong with me. Oh my God. You'll be correct that it's weird for you to hit on 18 to 20-year-olds. But if you were to just be a bit more neutral about that and realize that, yes, some women won't want to date a 30-year-old man. Cool. Some women will prefer to date a 30-year-old man. If you have that statement, then some woman, some 18 to 20-year-old will say, I don't want to date you. You'll go, cool, beautiful. I hope you have a beautiful life. I hope you find what you're looking for. It was nice talking to you. And she'll go, wow, thank you. It was nice talking to you too. And then she'll leave feeling positive. She won't feel creepy and all of that, creeped out and all that shit that you're so terrified of. So you will make it come true depending on the mindset that you have and what's in your head. In other words, the belief that you have, you will bring it to fruition. The story that you tell is like a magic spell. Words are magic spells, and you will make it come true. You go on to tell even more stories that your brain is lying to you and telling you are a statement of fact. Women that are closer into my age, like 27 to 30, are either already taken, really let themselves go, and I just can't force myself to go for an obese single mum. I just can't say, also, you live in Australia. Why did you spell mum, M-O-M? It's M-U-M, my Australian friend. I just can't. All right, we'll read the next bit in a second. So you're saying more statements of fact or more things that your brain believes are statements of fact. Women who are 27 to 30 are already taken or they're obese single mums. Is that true? Have you walked up to 1,000 women? You don't need to talk to that many. But have you walked up to 1,027 to 30-year-olds, like women your age, and hit on them? Have you gone on dating apps and specifically said, let me set my age range to 27 to 30, and I will improve myself, and I'll put, a good couple of months into taking better pictures. I'll hit the gym. I'll work on all of that stuff. and I'll see what's out there. Have you done that? No. Have I done that? Yes. I live in the same country as you. So I have done it in your country, in our country, I guess. I have specifically said, I want to see what it's like to date older women or women more my age. I'm 37. I've specifically set my age range to every age range that you could ever play with. I've played with 27 to 30 to see what that's like. I've tried playing with 30 to 35-year-old to see what that's like. I've tried playing with like 35 to 50 to see what that's like. I've tried just going, what if I set the age range of like 60 to 80? Spoiler alert, there's basically no one on Tinder or Hinge, at least in my country, in that age range. Most of them use other matchmaking services or they just meet through Social Circle and stuff like that. And so I've played around with this experiment that you haven't done. Or maybe you've done it a little bit, but you haven't done it with an open mind. And that's okay. We often come to something with expectations and no curiosity. And as I say all the time, as I got that great quote from my friend, I have no expectations, only curiosity. If you showed up with an actually curious mind, you would see that there are a lot of 27 to 30-year-old women who are an absolute fucking catch. There are a million life circumstances as to why a woman or a person might be 27 to 30 and not taken yet, but she's still in good shape and all of that. She might have just gotten over a divorce. She might have had her partner die or something. She might just have been a career woman. There are so many career women that are 27 to 30 and really independent and looking either to build something if they find someone cool or to just have some casual relationships or a casual relationship with one person. I have dated quite a few 27 to 30-year-olds. I've dated some slightly older women than that. I've obviously dated younger women than that. There are lots of beautiful human beings out there that you could connect with, but why should any of them connect with you when you, and I'll say this in a kind way to you, my friend, but you're very fucking judgmental, and that's okay. Lots of us are. I am judgmental at times too, my brother, but look at the judgment just oozing out of your statements. Any woman who's 27 to 30, she's already taken or she's let herself go. And I'm not going to settle for some obese single mum. Dude, the judgment, man. It's right there. It's just like seeping out. And people can tell, brother. People can tell that you're showing up with that mindset of like, this is pointless. What's the point? Why should I even bother trying to work out? Why should I watch my diet? Why do I need to take care of my grooming? So that you can find a woman that's what you're looking for. What are you talking about? But you're basically saying I should let myself go. And then I'm not going to date a woman that would let herself go. Like, fuck that. But I might start letting myself go. I don't know if you have let yourself go yet. Like, I don't know, dude. It sounds like you put a lot of effort into your self-improvement, self-love. That's beautiful. Like, good job to you. That's incredible. But if you showed up with no expectations and an open heart, like any woman would tell you, if any woman read this right now, they would probably tell you, bro, come on. Like, they wouldn't say bro, but they would say 27 to 30-year-old women aren't already taken or they're obese single mums. Like, there's other women out there. I know someone. It turns out my friend Sarah is 27 to 30. She just got over a long-term relationship and she's looking to meet new people. And she's a sweetheart. She's a cat. She has a banging bod. She goes to the gym all the time. But guess what? I'm not going to introduce you to Sarah because you're judgmental. Why the fuck would I want Sarah around someone who says that it's all pointless and is like apathetic? And brother, it's okay that you feel like that. But why the fuck should the universe conspire to get you what you want when you say that it's already pointless? Why should other people help you get what you want when you say it's not going to work out? Why would anyone want you to date their 27 to 30-year-old friend? Or why would any 27 to 30-year-old on a dating app or in person that you talk to want to date you when you say, one, I'm apathetic and it's pointless. And again, it's okay that you feel like that. And two, that you say, what's the point? Like, they're all either going to be obese single mums or whatever. And then if I talk to younger women, I'm going to get a reputation. I'm going to go to jail because the laws are insane. And I can't talk to an older woman than that because she's probably even more obese. Like, why the fuck would anyone date you? And again, that is not a judgment on you, brother. I am not attacking you in any way. But is your mindset right now one that would facilitate connection with another human being? No, fuck no. Would you want to connect with another human being who said, what's the point? Like if you went up to someone in a bar, some dude or something, and you were like, oh, I'm going to be friends with this guy. Let's go see if he's cool or not. You walk up and you're like, hey, bro, what's up? And he's like, what's the point in me even talking to you right now? Like, what's the point? I'm in my 30s. It's too late to build friendships. It's too late for me now. And the law's probably going to make this conversation illegal one day anyway. And What's the point? Like, you're probably fucking obese and you're probably just going to be boring and all of that. So, like, why would I even talk to you and be your friend? Would you be friends with that person? Would you be like, what the fuck crawled up your ass and died? Like, why are you like this? Okay, goodbye. I have love for you, but holy shit, no thank you. I don't want to be part of this. Like, why would you be friends with someone that's that negative? And again, it's okay that you feel these emotions, but let's process them and work through them. And I'm here. I'm trying to help in this video. I would obviously love to help you on a coaching call if you want that. And then we could go a lot deeper. It wouldn't be me talking at you. We could talk to each other and go properly into this. But yeah, why should someone want to be friends with you? And that's not a value judgment on you. It's a value judgment on your attitude. It's not even a value judgment on your attitude. It is a direct consequence of your mindset. Your mindset is blocking connections with other human beings right now. You are literally ensuring, you are all but guaranteeing that any 18 to 20-year-old won't want to date you because you're going to be walking on eggshells. And again, that's okay. Grab the Play to Win video course or grab a coaching call with me and we can talk through those fears and I will help you through those fears. I've helped so many people through the fucking fear of like, I can't talk to younger women because it's bad. And I've helped talk them through that. But you're not going to build a connection with any 18 to 20-year-old because you're going to be walking on eggshells so terrified. You're probably not going to build a connection with any 27 to 30-year-old because you've already decided they're all either obese single mums or they've let themselves go or they're already taken. So what's the point? What's the point? She's already going to have a boyfriend or husband, or she's going to be completely not what I'm looking for and unattractive to me. Cool, I'm not interested. You're not going to try, bro. You're just not going to try as hard. You won't. You'll go out there and talk to maybe one or two people and you'll go, see, I knew it was pointless. I give up. I quit. Some of this stuff, these goals that you might have, require quite a bit of perseverance. You have to talk to quite a lot of women to find one that's exactly what you're looking for and all of that. You're probably not going to walk up to one woman and she'll be exactly what you're looking for and you're exactly what she's looking for and you guys build a beautiful connection and happily ever after. It probably won't happen with the first person you talk to. So I think a part of you knows this is a numbers game and you're never going to play the numbers game when you have such a mindset of like, this is all pointless. It's not going to work out. What's the point? And again, I don't expect you to just snap your fingers and become more positive. It's something that you can work on and you don't have to. You are very welcome to, I'll show you the map of consciousness here on the screen. You're very welcome to keep playing around at the bottom of the map, which is where you're playing around right now. You're playing around with guilt and shame. I'm ashamed of talking to younger women. I feel guilty if I do it. You're playing around with apathy a lot. It's pointless. That is apathy. You're definitely playing around with fear a lot. I'm scared of the law. I'm scared of the news. I'm scared of talking to younger women. I'm scared. You are scared. I'm scared that 27 to 30-year-old women are just going to be taken and it won't work out. And what's the point? You're also somewhat a little bit prideful. You have a lot of pride, which I know pride is higher up on the map, but pride still is a block to connection with other human beings. When I say pride, you might be like, I don't have any pride, Andy. What the fuck? I'm like feeling down and sad, bro. That's not pride. No. Pride is in this sense more like your brain thinks that it knows things. You think you know that going to prison would be a bad thing. You think you know that 18 to 20-year-old women aren't going to talk to you and you'll get a weird reputation. You think you know that 27 to 30-year-old women are either taken or obese single moms or any of that. Like you think you know these things. And so it's not that you're meaning to be prideful, but like the brain is by default prideful. It thinks that everything it thinks is correct. Any thought that comes into your head, you are innocent and naive and you will just believe it by default. Like your brain basically propagandizes itself. It's just constantly spewing out random fucking thoughts and then saying, that's true, that's true, that's true. Same with your feelings. You'll feel a feeling and your brain will go, well, that must be true. I must be correct in that. And so again, that's where the Play to Win video course helps. And this chapter, everything is a story and you're in control of the stories that you tell. But yeah, you're basically playing around a lot with these low-level emotions. And in your entire comment, I see little bits, if we look at the emotions a little bit higher, I see quite a bit of courage from you, which is incredible. You went out and talked to 50 women. That's insane. You had the courage to open up to all of us about this. I see bits of willingness. You're very willing to open up. You opened up to all of us. I see quite a lot of reason. You're clearly a very intelligent person. You have bits of stoicism, I can already tell. You're already playing around with some of the stuff at the top of the map, and I'm just trying to encourage you to play around with it more. I can see bits of love in what you've written. And love is pretty fucking high on the map of consciousness, isn't it? And you might say, where is the love? Well, you loved yourself enough to try and do cold approach when you were really terrified. You loved yourself enough to share all of this with us. You love yourself enough and you love women enough to not creep out or not want to creep out or scare, I guess, whatever you want to call it, creep out 18 to 20-year-old women. Like, you have a lot of love, brother. You're already playing around with a lot of the emotions at the top of the map. And I'm just gently trying to point out to you, not to make you feel guilty or bad or anything. I'm trying to point out to you that a lot of what you've written here is playing around with the emotions down the bottom of the map. And those emotions don't empower us. I have an entire chapter on this in the video course. The chapter is called The Map of Consciousness, Hierarchy of Emotions. It's the map that I just showed on the screen there. And I talk about the emotions down the bottom of the map don't really serve us. They get in the way. They lead to an unsatisfied, unfulfilled life. If you live a life down the bottom, anger, desire means like wanting something, but then not really doing anything to start making it happen. If you're full of guilt and apathy and shame, which you definitely have quite a bit of that lurking, and that's okay. But if you're full of those emotions or you play around with those emotions, yeah, it's not a very self-actualized life. It's very fucking hard for you to go outside. You already know this. This is the point of your comment. It's very hard to go outside and talk to women when you feel guilt and shame and fear and apathy and all of those sort of emotions. It's very hard to go up to people with an open mind and an open heart and say, hey, I like you. You're pretty. Can I take you out for a drink or a coffee? That's fucking difficult when you're feeling fear, grief, shame, apathy, guilt, etc. And so part of how we make this easier on ourselves is, and I talk about this in the Play to Win video course, playing around with some of the emotions that are a little bit higher up. We can come up with some reasons or some excuses, some examples of love. I guess I would say opportunities for love when we go outside. So rather than saying, you talk through a lot of apathy, when you say things like, it's kind of pointless now that I'm entering my 30s, that's apathy. It's also pride, like I know that it's pointless, or I really strongly feel like it's pointless. It's pride and apathy. I guess maybe some fear mixed in there too. Rather than talking like that, we find an opportunity for love and we say, you know what? Yeah, but I'd really love to see if that's true. I'd love to overcome my limiting beliefs. I'd love to go out there and just talk to some women. I don't have to do a good job. I don't have to hit on them. I'll give myself permission to suck, which can require deep humility. But I'll just go out there and say hi to some of them. And I'll have no expectations. I'll see what happens. And if we play around with some of those emotions higher up on the map, it's easier to go up to women. Like, it's so much easier to go and hit on women when you feel like, you know what, maybe this will be a fun thing. Let me just try and make her day a little bit better or a little bit brighter. Let me not worry about the laws, obviously follow the laws and shit like that, but let me not sit there and stress about the laws or the news or the media or social media. Let me not worry about, like, what if I get a fucking reputation? Then I get a reputation, cool. What if I go to fucking prison? Then I'll make sure that I'm kind to people and generous and compassionate and all of that shit. Don't worry about any of that. I'm going to go out there and just focus on what I want. I'm going to play to win instead of obsessing about, oh, I better not lose. I hope I don't lose. I'm going to focus on the winning, which is leave every person that you come in contact with as much as you can better off than before they met you. Let nobody come to you without leaving a little bit better off. All right, let's keep reading a little bit. So you're talking here about, like, I can't force myself to go for an obese single mum, which is such a sort of, what's it called? Straw man argument, I guess. Like, it isn't so, you've made it so binary. Women who are 27 to 30, first of all, like, okay, well then what about, you've left a massive gap here. What about women who are 20 to 26? Why can't you date them? If you really don't want to talk to 18 to 19-year-olds, you don't have to. No one's going to make you. If you really don't want to talk to 27 to 30-year-olds, you don't have to. Why have you left a massive gap there? I'll tell you why you left a massive gap there, because it doesn't fit your narrative. This is what we do when we have a narrative that something is pointless or hopeless. We don't look at all the evidence. We're not rational when we're full of emotion. And you're full of apathy and bits of guilt and shame and fear and pride and all of that. And that's okay. Again, all of that's okay, my brother. But when we're full of those emotions, we're just not fucking rational. You left a giant fucking hole here, brother, which is so easy for someone who's rational, like me, because this isn't my situation. And I'm probably feeling a bit more of those higher level emotions than you in general anyway, because I've been working on it. It's what I've been working on for years, brother. But I can come along and be like, bro, you left a giant hole here in your little narrative. Your story that this is pointless has one giant gaping fucking hole in it, which is 20 to 26-year-old women. Why can't you just date them? You've also left another gap, 31-year-old to infinity aged women. You've left out that gap. You've also left out the gap, because you've made it so binary, of 27 to 30-year-old women who either aren't taken and aren't an obese single mum. Those aren't the only two categories of 27 to 30-year-old women, but you've literally said 27 to 30-year-old women are either already taken or an obese single mum. And I don't want either of those two categories, so I have no options in that age range. First of all, there's other age ranges you didn't even talk about. Second of all, there's other women in that 27 to 30-year-old age range who aren't obese single mums or already taken. Go outside with an open mind and an open heart. I mean, fuck, man. Go outside with a clipboard or something and walk up to 100 women that you think are roughly 27 to 30 and say, hey, I'm doing a little fun little survey for something. Would you mind if I ask you like 3 questions? And a lot of them will be like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. How old are you? Oh, I'm a 28-year-old woman. Are you single right now? Yes, I am. And then you look at her, and if she's not an obese single mum, then you go, oh shit, I was fucking wrong. I found one woman who's between 27 to 30, and she's not an obese single mum, and she's single. Holy shit, what the fuck? You may as well, if you want to, in that moment, be like, would you like, my third question is, would you like to go on a date with me? And she'll be like, oh, that's cute. Did you walk up with a clipboard to ask me these pretend questions so you could ask me out? You're like, yeah, I am actually doing a survey because I'm trying to let go of my limiting beliefs, but you are really pretty, so I'd love to take you out for a drink. And she'll be like, oh, that's cute. Okay. Or no, thank you. And so you could literally solve this for yourself, but obviously your ego and your narrative, our egos and our narrative don't want to be proven wrong. It's probably the last thing you ever want to do. Go outside and ask 100 women, hey, what's your age, if you don't mind telling me, and are you single? But you would quickly dismantle that and realize how bullshit this story is. You could also play the same game with 18 to 20-year-old women. You could, and this is I don't know where you live in Australia, but right now, as I record this, maybe it'll be too late by the time this video comes out, it is Schoolies Week. You probably know what that is in Australia. And by the way, for anyone listening, Schoolies Week is strictly 18 and older girls. Like, I want to make that fucking clear. But you could, if you lived anywhere near the Gold Coast or Brisbane or something, you could go up to them with a clipboard and walk up to a bunch of girls that are literally 18, or you could walk around a college, like a university campus where most of the people are 18 to 20, walk up to them and say, hey, excuse me, can I ask you a couple of questions? Yes. How old are you? I'm 18, I'm 20, I'm 19. What's the oldest guy, or what age range of guys do you usually prefer? Do you usually prefer guys your age, a little bit older, or quite a bit older? And then just, they'll tell you which one. You make a note of it. You go, cool, thank you, this really helped. And then you just do that. Do a survey. You could fucking post it on the internet. You could also Google. You could just ask me, and I can tell you right now, there are a bunch of 18 to 20-year-old women that will only date guys their age. There are a bunch of 18 to 20-year-old women that are open-minded to guys that are a little bit older, but they still have a cutoff range. There are a bunch of 18 to 20-year-old girls who prefer men in their 30s. Imogen, my girlfriend, is one of them. We met when she was 18. I was 29 or 30. I was 30. And she specifically on Tinder had her age range set to way older. I think the minimum she was going for was like 28, and then she was willing to date up to like 40 or something. Bronwyn, the girl that we've been dating, I think she's 20. She's now, I guess when we met, she was like 21. But when we first met, because we met her twice, long story. When we first met her and had sex with her the first time, I think she was 19. And she likes older guys. I, at that point, was like 32 or some shit, or 31 or something. And so they are 2 examples of people that prefer older guys. And if you went outside and actually asked a bunch of 18 to 19-year-old women, you would find, holy shit, a lot of them like older men. They like to call them daddy. They like to call them sir. They specifically want a guy that's not their age because they're sick of 18 to 19-year-old boys. Nothing against 18 to 19-year-old boys, but when we're that age, we don't really have our shit together. Any 18 to 19-year-old boy would tell you that. You'd be like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just finished high school. I don't know anything. And so lots of 18 to 19-year-old women want a guy that can show them the ropes, sometimes literally, but they want a guy that can teach them about life and mentor them and be kind to them and has his shit together and has his own apartment and isn't trying to figure himself out. He knows who he is. By 30, you know a little bit more. And you might say, yeah, dude, I don't know myself that well. I'm apathetic. I'm feeling all these low-level emotions. Yeah, fine. But you have your life together more than an 18 to 19-year-old. You do, dude. You just do. And so you could go outside with an open mind or go on the internet and Google this and find out if your limiting beliefs are even true. They're not. They're false. They have glaring holes in them that I'm picking apart without even trying. But your brain will probably argue with me and be like, no, dude, like, no, I'm right. Because we really want to be right. Because if I get you to face the fact that you might not be right, then you might have to look in the mirror and be like, holy shit, I've had the power to change this all along and I haven't done anything. Oh my God. And now you have done a lot, but your brain might tell you, fuck, I haven't done anything. I've sat around feeling apathetic. Oh my God, I've wasted time. You haven't. And if you really could have changed things, you would have. Maybe you needed this epiphany from me. Maybe you needed this confrontation from me. Like maybe that was the catalyst. Maybe it isn't. Who knows? You might just double down on your narrative and that would be okay. A lot of people double down on their narratives and they don't really change. But it can be very confronting to realize that some of your limiting beliefs might be bullshit. I have an entire fucking chapter on this in the Play to Win video course. This chapter that I showed before, overcoming fear, limiting beliefs, and self-doubt. Go check that chapter out, my brother. But yeah, you go on to say, I just can't, as in you can't settle for obese single mums. Nobody's telling you that you have to. Like, do you see how so if you don't know what the straw man fallacy is, it's where we make a very big fucking, I'll tell you the literal meaning of it. You make a big man made out of straw, like a big statue made out of straw, and then you set fire to it. That's what it literally means. But in terms of an argument, a straw man fallacy or a straw man argument is where you make some big extreme argument and then you say, see, I don't want to do that, so that's my evidence. So you've made this big extreme example of like, well, I don't want to have to settle for a 27 to 30-year-old obese single mom. I just can't. You know, I have high standards. You know, you can say I have high standards or whatever, Andy. Like, see how you're already like defending before anyone has even attacked you. That's what we do when we make a straw man. We have to defend it. So we go, look, fine, you can say I have high standards or whatever, but listen, I refuse to believe that after working on myself, I have to settle for that. Bro, you just made a straw man, and then you said, I'm not going to settle for that straw man. You invented that. You haven't invented. Yes, there are 27 to 30-year-old obese single mums, but you've invented the narrative that that is all that you have. That is your only option. You've literally invented that. And look at how flimsy your invention of this is. You've said, I can't talk to 18 to 19-year-olds because I might get a reputation. That's already flimsy as fuck, especially with how insane the laws are starting to get in Australia. Look at how desperately you're clinging to straws there. You're clinging for straw. Anything. Give me anything. I have to build this fucking straw man. And then you go, 27 to 30-year-old women are either taken or obese single mums, which is even more just false straws that you're grasping at. What about all the 27 to 30-year-olds who aren't taken and aren't obese single mums? There are plenty of them. You'd know that if you went outside. And then you've had to build even more of a straw man and go, let's conveniently ignore 20 to 26-year-old women. Let's just pretend they don't exist. Let's also ignore 30 to 60-year-old women or whatever age range you want. I don't know, 30 to 35-year-old women. Let's ignore them, pretend they don't exist. And now I've perfectly constructed this straw man where I've now said my only options in dating are 27 to 30-year-old women, but I can't even do that. Fuck, man, it's hopeless. See? Bro, you can say I have high standards or whatever, but I'm being perfectly rational, bro. I shouldn't have to settle for that. Why should I have to settle? You don't. Nobody said you had to date people you're not attracted to. But if you went outside with an open heart and an open mind, and again, I'll say this with love, brother, but you're very fucking judgmental. You're judging 18 to 19-year-olds by saying, they're going to all say that I'm creepy. They're all going to judge me. You're judging them, brother, by saying they're going to judge you. They're saying, I will get a reputation. You're also judging your fellow human beings. You're saying Australia and the legal system, which is just people. So Australian people will judge me and give me a bad reputation if I talk to 18 to 19-year-olds. No, they won't. Some of them might. I have done this for, I don't know, the last 10 years. I don't have a reputation. I've done this way more than you. Do you know how many 18 to 19-year-olds I have slept with and had threesomes and they've come on my YouTube channel and talked about sexuality and all of that? I don't have a fucking reputation. Some people might say I do. Like, some people might judge me for that, I mean. But you, brother, are judging these people. You're judging the entire country and saying you'll get a reputation. You're judging definitely 27 to 30-year-olds. I guess we could say you're maybe judging 20 to 26-year-olds by just ignoring them completely, saying they're not even people in my little weird straw man argument. I know you're not really saying that, brother, but the point that I'm making here is you're being very judgmental, and that's okay. Most of us are fucking judgmental. Our brain, by default, judges things. Otherwise, if we weren't judgmental, how would we know if that lion is dangerous or safe? If we didn't judge, we'd just go up to the lion in the jungle and be like, hi, Mr. Lion, I love you. And then he'd eat you. And you go, oh, okay. All right, so maybe I need to judge a lion as potentially dangerous. Okay. And then from there, we start judging other people. Okay, that guy over there in our tribe, he keeps stealing everyone's stuff and he's stabbed like 10 people. Maybe it's not wise to have him in this tribe. Okay, let's judge him. We need to kick him out or kill him or whatever we're going to do. Okay, so we judge people. Then we start judging entire groups of people. And we go, okay, that tribe over there keeps attacking our tribe. Maybe we should move away or make peace with them or attack them or something. We'll do something. Buy out their safety or something. Buy peace from them. Give them like, what's it called? Tithings. I think that's what it's called. Tributes, whatever. And we'll buy peace. And so we start judging whole groups of people. And that's what you've done here. And then eventually we start judging ourselves. And we go, holy shit, if I'm not perfect, if I don't, which is essentially everything you've written here, you're basically saying, if I don't figure out my sex life and my dating life and relationships and all of that shit and my meaning of life and my purpose, and if I don't figure out the point of life and point of my 30s, I'm going to get kicked out of the group. You're also saying if I'm not perfect and hit on the exact perfect age range of women, then I'm going to get a reputation. I'm going to get judged. I'm going to go to jail. So we start judging ourselves out of fear. And we go, if I'm not perfect, something bad will happen to me. And so all of these judgments are things that we're doing to try and keep ourselves safe. So when I tell you that you're judgmental, understand I'm not judging you. I mean, I guess in a way I am judging you, but I'm not saying it's bad that you're judgmental. It serves an evolutionary purpose. It is literally how you survive, how we survive. But now your judgments, like most people's judgments, have just gone to such an extreme that they start getting in the way and they stop or close the door to deeper connections with people. It's very hard to connect with people when we're so busy judging them. There's a Mother Teresa quote that I love. When we judge someone, we have no time to love them. You have judged 18 to 19-year-old women and said that they will call you creepy. You've judged the entire fucking country and said they will give you a reputation and they'll put you in jail or something bad might happen. You've definitely judged 27 to 30-year-old women and said they're either taken or they're obese single mums. Fucking hell, bro. It's like very judgmental, and that's okay. You've probably judged 20 to 26-year-old women by just saying they don't exist, same as 30 to 35-year-olds. If you don't want to date those age ranges, fine. Do whatever you want, brother. But with all of that judgment and with all of that, do you think that that makes it easy for other people to connect with you and build something with you and open themselves up because they're scared of judgment? I'll tell you this right now. Basically, every woman in this fucking country, just like every man, like you're very scared of this too, is scared of judgment of others. We all are scared of judgment. I still am to some degree. I'm working very diligently on letting that go. It's kind of the pathway to enlightenment, I guess you could call it. Letting go of your judgment of others and your judgment of yourself and letting go of fear of judgment from others. But it's still a mission that I'm on, brother, so I get it. But these women, like just women in general, are very scared of being judged, just like you are. You're scared of getting a reputation. You're scared of the law. You're scared of all of this stuff. You're scared of people judging you for being with a 27-year-old single mom. You're scared of me saying that you have high standards. I didn't even say that, but you defended that because you're scared of someone saying, bro, you have high standards. I haven't even said that, and I won't say that. You're allowed whatever standards you want, but you're scared of me saying that to you. And so you're equally as scared as they are. And when you show up with all of that judgment in your heart, which again serves an evolutionary purpose, but we can transcend our evolution, transcend our biology, and start letting go of our judgment. But when you show up to a date or you walk outside and talk to women with that prejudgment that you already have about them, and you're judging the entire country and how they're going to treat you, you're also judging reality and saying, I have an expectation of how this is going to go. I know it's going to be pointless. It's pointless. I'm entering my 30s. It's pointless. You're judging everything already. And that's okay. Most people do. But do you think that that makes it easy for those women to then open themselves up to you sexually or intimately or just in a conversation? Does it make it easy? No. One of the best things that you can ever do for your results, I guess, when it comes to approaching is to be more open-minded or give yourself permission to suck, which is me trying to encourage you guys and girls to have humility, to be open-minded. Or you can take my quote or my friend's quote, I have no expectations, only curiosity. You're opening your mind up and saying, whatever happens will happen. Whatever happens will be good. There's a chapter on that in the Play to Win video course. This one here, everything that happens to me is good. But you're opening yourself up and saying, whatever happens will happen. Whatever will be, will be. I'm going to go out there and just talk to some women. And you show up with a different energy. Instead of being apathetic and having that little underlying fear and all of that shit that you have, like you right now have terror when it comes to hitting on 18 to 19-year-old women. You're literally talking about jail, bro. You're talking about laws. That's how fucking terrified you are. That tells you how fearful you are. But instead of showing up with that fear and the apathy and all of that and that guilt and those weird feelings, you show up with just calmness. Maybe you're nervous and all of that. Maybe you're shaking and all of that. But you're just like, hey, I thought you were really pretty and I just wanted to say hey. And she's like, hey, thank you. And you're like, are you single? And she goes, yeah. And you go, how old are you, by the way? And she's like, I'm 28. And you go, but you're not an obese single mum. What the fuck? Do you have kids? And she's like, no, I don't have kids. And you're like, does not compute, does not compute, does not compute. But I thought 100% of women were either taken or obese single mums. Are you sure you're 28? Are you sure you're not 26? How is this working? Are you sure you're not obese? Is this some sort of optical illusion? And yes, I'm taking the piss, my friend. I'm making a little joke here. But if you showed up with an open mind, you would actually find that some of your limiting beliefs are just not true. Like most of us, myself included, man, have so many limiting beliefs and we're just so full of shit with them. Like we're so utterly full of shit with our limiting beliefs. They're almost never true. There might be one limiting belief here or there that's true. Like I can't fly right now. That doesn't seem to be true. But even then, that's not fucking true. There are jetpacks that we already have. I could go and buy one. I can get on a plane. I'm technically flying. So even that limiting belief is not true. But the limiting beliefs that you have here are definitely not true. All right, I'm going to move myself to the top so we can keep reading. I think we'll blast through the rest of this, brother. Otherwise, this will go on forever. And I'm not saying you go on forever. I'm the one going on forever. I can't force myself to go for an obese single mom. You can say I have high standards, blah, blah, blah. I have such a wealth of experience and knowledge, not to mention resources, that a guy who lives in a small rental to save money as a 30-year-old isn't exactly a catch. Yeah, see how you're like... Wait, are you talking about yourself here? I'm a little confused. Yeah, you are. Okay. Yeah, you can say that you're not a catch, brother, but again, that is just a story. If you would open your mind up and let go of your judgments about yourself and other people, and that's something you can work on, brother. Like my Play to Win video course helps with that. I'm very happy to coach you and help you work on that. There are lots of books on this. Just start reading like Buddhism and shit like that. Read some David Hawkins stuff. Read Letting Go by David Hawkins. I highly recommend that. I would read I Need Your Love by Byron Katie. I would also read Loving What Is by Byron Katie. Just start reading any of these things if you want to, and they will help you be a bit more open-minded. But you'd realize if you were more open-minded, like if you put my brain in your body and you didn't change anything, and I didn't have more money than you, like if I just literally got to be you for a month, I would go outside with an open mind and an open heart, and I'd just walk up to people and I'd be like, hi, you're really pretty. Can I talk to you for a bit? Are you single? And I would do that with enough people. And I would find you some girl who doesn't give a shit that you live in a small rental to save money. In fact, she thinks that's really cool. Imogen is one of those people, by the way. My girlfriend is fucking obsessed with saving money because she grew up in a sort of household where her dad was just obsessed with saving money. And so she would fucking love you, but like she probably wouldn't because she's with me. But she would fucking, if I got to be you and she was single, she'd probably fucking love you, bro. Like, but just right now you're saying I'm not a catch. These things are bad. Again, that's that judgment. I'm judging myself. But the Buddha said it best, you yourself, as much as anyone else in the entire universe, deserve your love and compassion. And you could say non-judgmentalism. And again, that's just something you can work on, my man. And you're already doing a pretty decent job. But I would start working on this. If you want a tangible, actionable thing, other than grabbing my Play to Win video course, jump on a $200 coaching call with me. But I would also get out a big piece of paper and write down 50 things about yourself that are lovable, 50 reasons that you're a catch. Like, basically write down what you have to offer. Instead of focusing on the losing, I'm a loser. I'm not good enough. I'm not a catch. I don't have enough money. I'm not this. I'm not that, blah, blah, blah. I would start focusing on what you do have to offer, reasons why someone might want to be with you. And even if no one wants to be with you, reasons why you want to be with you. Like you right now don't like yourself. That much is very true or very clear. When we judge a lot of other people, which again, that's okay, brother. Lots of us are judgmental. I am too. But when we judge a lot of people, it's really because we're judging ourselves. And when you're afraid that your reputation will go down, it's because you don't really love your reputation to begin with. If you're very happy and proud and you love who you are, you don't care if some people give you a reputation. Eventually, you get to a point where you don't even care if you go to prison. You're just like, whatever. I'll go and try and make prison better from the inside. It'll be an inside job of love and compassion. and I'll make the most of it. It might be a beautiful opportunity for me to let go of my judgments about people in prison. It is. Going to prison really fucking opens your mind up, by the way. You stop seeing other people as criminals and bad, and you're just like, oh, they're a person trying to do their best. They did something, they made a mistake, or they hurt someone, or they hurt themselves, or whatever. And they're going to either atone for that or they won't, but, they're just a human being. Like, you stop judging people. But yeah, man. And anyway, I'll keep reading. Combine that with the fact that I really struggle and I hate socializing. Yeah, you're judging socializing, but I'll let that go. Fine. And it seems almost impossible. I think by now I don't need to keep pointing these out. You can see how often your brain is trying to tell you that you're correct. I've pretty much never met a guy who was a loner that does his own shit without friends and was getting laid. Just because you haven't met someone like that doesn't mean that that person doesn't exist. Also, what a fucking... So again, this is that sort of like straw man that we build up. You've literally called yourself, you're like, I'm a loner. First of all, that's a big value judgment. You're just someone who likes to be alone. That's me, by the way. The vast majority of my time I spend alone. You might not know that. Don't exactly say that all the fucking time. But the vast majority of my time is spent alone. I sit there reading massive books about psychology and self-improvement and coaching and spirituality and how to be better to you guys and girls. I spend the vast majority of my time doing that stuff. I'm not with Imogen. Like, we see each other for a few hours a day. Sometimes we don't see each other much at all. I spend the vast majority of my time by myself. I am not a loner, but I am alone sometimes, or a lot. I just don't say it's a bad thing. I enjoy that. I love my own company. I love learning. I love growing. I love reading. It's hard to read books when you're with your fucking friends, right? So I like to spend a lot of time alone. I just don't say it's a bad thing. You do. You literally even say, I do my own shit without friends. Imagine if you just said that. I'm just a guy who likes to do his own shit without friends. Do you think that there aren't fucking people who spend time alone who can't have sex? Like, that's basically the straw man that you've made. And I know just because you haven't seen it, you feel like it mustn't be a thing, but you haven't been looking for it. Like, realize that you've been looking around with a very closed mind. Go outside, go interview 500 people with a clipboard, like 500 men, and be like, hey, I'm doing a study. Do you spend the majority of your time by yourself? And some of those guys will be like, yes, I do. And then you go, okay, do you have a girlfriend or are you currently having sex with someone? That's none of your business, but like, sure, yes, I am. And you go, oh shit, I'm wrong. There you go. I found one person. Now I can be person number 2. And if you can't find a single person, which is like literally just not true, I'm telling you, which one of us is the expert? You or me? Me. A lot of my clients are fucking loners, bro. That's why they come to me for coaching. I get them to just go outside and talk to women with an open mind and an open heart. They meet some women. Some of them, a lot of them, come to us with literally 0 friends. They literally don't have fucking friends and they hate socializing and they have your mindset. And we just gently encourage them to start going outside, start talking to people, and start hitting on women. And then boom, they start having sex. They get a girlfriend. Like, you're just so utterly wrong on this. And that's okay. That's okay. But you're so utterly wrong on this one. It's all a social circle game. No, it's not. That's another lie that you've just sort of said. Even on dating apps where everyone constantly says, why do you give a shit what people constantly say? Also, they don't constantly say it. You just constantly look for people saying it. That you should have photos with friends or whatever. No, like, for the longest time, my profile had literally no fucking friends in it. It was just me by myself being a fucking loner. And a lot of my coaching clients have a profile that doesn't have any girls or any friends in it, and they still meet women, they still have sex, they still get girlfriends. You've just, again, sort of made a big lie and believed that it's true because it fits your narrative of hopelessness. And that's what we do when we're feeling hopeless and we feel like something's pointless. Like I said, we just start grasping for evidence, and the evidence becomes very fucking flimsy and most of the time completely fucking wrong. And the expert, aka me, and I normally don't like to call myself an expert because it's not very humble, but whatever, I've done this more than you, dude. I am the one that you should be listening to, not your fucking self. But I come along and tell you that it's not true, but then your brain will just look for more evidence and you get into a debate. And obviously, I'm not here to debate with you, dude. I have no interest in debating. You're not debating either, to be very clear. Like, I'm not saying that you're debating, but I'm just talking generally. So not really about you, but I don't have any interest in debating with people because most people haven't done it. You know that you haven't done it, but isn't it funny that your brain still tells you that you're right? Like, you are literally fundamentally not the fucking expert here. You haven't done this thing, so you don't know anything. You haven't coached a whole lot of people doing it, so you definitely don't know anything. You don't have a big YouTube channel helping a ton of people in the comments like yourself, helping them and they realize that it's possible. You haven't been doing this like I have for 10 years. You haven't seen your friends do this as well like I have. All of my friends have worked through all of this. Some of my friends are complete loners. I have one friend, I won't say his name, but yeah, he's like the most loner guy ever. I swear to God, he has no friends outside of me. He probably does, but like, I've never seen any of his other friends. Maybe once or twice I've seen a couple of friends. He's like the most loner guy. And he's like autistic and like just everything. And it's like, who gives a shit? He just goes outside and does the work. He talks to a bunch of women. One or two of them like him. They don't care that he doesn't have a ton of friends. They like that he's quiet and contemplative and he does everything by himself, which he's like me. He spends most of his days reading and learning and just doing his own shit. Some girls like that, bro. But you've made the fallacy that no woman would ever like that. And everyone on dating apps has all somehow agreed that they won't swipe yes on you. They won't swipe right on you if you don't have a picture of you with friends. They'll say that you're a friendless loser. You know, they're literally saying, I am scared here that girls will think I'm a friendless loser. No, you think you're a friendless loser. And that's okay. It's okay to judge yourself, but I'd start working on that connection with yourself. Like, it's very clear that you don't love yourself, and that's okay. Most people don't. I didn't for the vast majority of my life. But if you loved yourself, you would show up with that energy of someone that loves themselves, and that is infectious. That's very easy to be around. And the final nail in the coffin of your already very flimsy case, and it's okay that your case is flimsy, you know, when you say you need to have dating profiles that have pictures of friends or whatever, so girls don't think you're a friendless loser. This was like the third profile that I ever made. And look at that. Where are the friends in that? Where's my friends? You could say like, oh, there's a BDSM picture. That's not, I took that off the internet. That's not even a picture I took. And there's no fucking friends in there. And then the profile I used after this. Where's the friends? I don't have any friends. It's just me. It's me a whole bunch of times. Even in this one, I'm literally in a bar. It's a pretty shit picture, by the way. Shows you don't even have to have good pictures. Where are the people? All this in the background is a bunch of fucking alcohol bottles. There's not even anyone in the picture. It's just like fucking me in a lonely, empty bar. It looks like I snuck into a bar and just took a shitty picture. Like, you absolutely making fallacies now, brother. And again, so many coaching clients that we've worked with don't have a single social picture of them with anyone else. But this is what we do when we have a narrative, right? We just grasp at flimsy, shitty evidence because it reinforces our narrative, and someone will come along and present evidence that our narrative is full of shit. And I don't know how you'll respond. Maybe you listen to this video. Maybe you don't even watch this video. I don't know. I'm saying this for everyone else as much as you. Maybe you listen to this and you go, nah, Andy's wrong. He doesn't really know me. He's full of shit. Like, that happens plenty of times. I try and help someone and then just double down on it. That's fine. That's what the brain likes to do sometimes. Or maybe you listen to this and go, holy shit, I honestly didn't realize that I was doing everything that you pointed out that I was doing. I didn't realize that my mind was so closed. I didn't realize that I thought I knew when, yeah, you're right, Andy. I haven't fucking done this. So how would I fucking know what's possible? I definitely haven't coached hundreds of people at this point. So I definitely don't have a wider sample size to know what's possible and what's not. A lot of my limiting beliefs, yeah, dude, you're right. I don't know. I don't know anything about dating apps, and yet I'm saying what sort of fucking photos, and everyone constantly says, what do you give a fuck about what everyone constantly says? If you had actually, with an open mind, gone on there and tried and really tried and properly, genuinely tried, you tried a little bit, which is fucking beautiful. But if you gave it a really good go, you would say, oh shit, it doesn't matter. Or if you went to a bunch of meetups.com, like go to meetup.com and go meet a bunch of people there and you say, I hate socializing. Okay, go to fucking book clubs where there's a bunch of nerds. Go to Dungeons and Dragons events where there's a bunch of nerds. There's solutions to these problems. Every problem has a solution, but you're so focused on giving more problems because you're trying to pile up evidence to reinforce your narrative that it's all pointless and you're in your 30s and it's too late and it's hopeless. And so you're gathering as much evidence as you can to build your case that it's hopeless, but realize that every single bit of evidence that you're presenting has a solution, multiple solutions. I'm worried about hitting on 18 to 19-year-old girls. Okay, just don't. I'm worried about getting a reputation. Okay, build a positive reputation for yourself. So then you don't care if some people give you a negative reputation. I'm worried that I can't hit on 27 to 30-year-old women who are taken or obese. So hit on 27 to 30-year-old women who aren't taken and aren't obese, or hit on 20 to 26-year-old women, or hit on 30 to 35-year-old women. Like, there are solutions to every single one of these. I hate socializing. Okay, then don't socialize. I'm worried that I'm a loner. Okay, work on your self-love and tell a different story about yourself. Buy my Play to Win video course or jump on a coaching call with me. I'm a loner and I don't really have any friends And so I feel like I can't get laid. Okay, start researching. Are there any people out there who are loners and have been able to get laid? Yes, there are. I just told you that. And if you want even more evidence, this is an old article that Chris from Good Looking Loser, a guy that got laid a lot and had a ton of friends that got laid a lot and coached some people as well and wrote a blog. Here is an article of his 10 misconceptions about guys that are naturally successful with women. In other words, players. Misconceptions about players. And you right now have this idea in your head that in order for you to have sex with any woman ever, you somehow have to be this super confident, legendary guy. And he lists out all the misconceptions in here. It's a really good article that I might even do a video on this at some point. But one of them is you have a misconception that guys that are successful with women have no social anxiety. You know, you said you hate socializing. Yeah, some of these people fucking hate socializing. Look at this. 3 weeks ago, one of the most successful guys I know, Sean, was freaking out so much when he was in New York City that he literally called me to comfort him. If you'd heard our phone call and prior voice message he sent me, you would think that the guy hadn't slept with a woman in years. Another misconception. You think that guys that are successful with women are secure with their looks. Another misconception. You think that guys like this who get laid a lot live totally gratifying, beautiful lives. You also think they have their shit together. No. And he says kind of what you said. It might be a bit odd to come across as a loner that has a good sex life, but because that's your limiting belief, but you might find a guy like this from time to time. There's plenty of examples like this. Scotty and I are loners to some degree. So was I, Andy. And I'll tell you though, if you are a loner, as long as you have some goals and, stuff like that, and you get laid, you'll never feel lonely. So work hard to get that first 1 or 2 fuck buddies or girlfriend or friends, or just work on your self-love. Blah, 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 blah. So there you go. There's more examples that and this whole article is really great, by the way, that you have all these misconceptions that these guys are great at going out and approaching tons of random girls. No, sometimes they're not. Some of these people aren't. I'm not the guy that goes out and talks to a ton of women. I talk to tons of people when I go outside, but the vast majority of people that I've met have been on dating apps. You have a misconception that these guys are all good at approaching. No, some of them are absolute dog shit. They just talk to a lot of women and they don't care as much as you do. They don't judge themselves for not being good at approaching. Another misconception is that they have flashy, spectacular game, like that they're good at talking to people. No, they just go up and talk to a lot of people. You have a misconception that they're Zen masters, always in control of their emotions and feelings. No, they're not. Anyway, I think we've dismantled some of your fallacies, some of your complete and utter fabrications of reality from someone that doesn't know jack shit because you haven't done it. And again, I say that with love, brother. I know that often we get very stuck in our own mindsets and our own limiting beliefs and all of that. And it can be quite a shock to realize how fucking wrong we are. And sometimes the brain will double down and argue and fight and defend and all of that. And we'll go, no, don't tell me I'm wrong. You don't understand me and all of that. And you might have that reaction. And if you do, be gentle with yourself for having that reaction. It's okay. You might watch this video and get halfway through and be like, fuck this guy. I don't believe in it. That's okay. Sometimes that happens, right? We're just, our ego going crazy right there. Or you might have a reaction and go, holy shit, he was right about a lot of what he said. Maybe all of it, maybe some of it, who fucking knows. But damn, dude, he was on the money with some of what he said. Damn. And that's okay. And then you start making some changes. I'm here. Jump on a coaching call with me if you want to. I have those $200 coaching calls. I would recommend that. It's a fucking challenge. I'll get real with all of you for a second. It's a fucking challenge for me coaching you guys in this format because I basically have to talk at you. And I think I do a decent job of it, but you're literally making my life a billion times easier. If you pay me $200, we sit down for a couple of hours. I did one yesterday that was 3 hours long. And I feel like we genuinely changed that dude's life. At the end of it, he was like, holy fuck, bro. This genuinely changed my life. So that is me. That's me. That makes it easier on me if we get to sit down and actually talk. And if you don't want to do that, that's beautiful too. But yeah, if this helped any of you, and especially you, this person here, if this helped you, I would love to jump on one of those $200 coaching calls with you. And I would do my absolute human best to change your life in as many different ways as I possibly can. All right, your very final thing you say is sorry for venting. You don't need to be sorry, my friend. That is, the word sorry in this context, because you haven't done anything. If you say sorry and you're apologizing because you punched someone in the face or something, yeah, great, brilliant, apologize. But when you're just saying, sorry that I exist, which is basically sort of this, sorry that I shared my emotions. when we say that, we're just sort of guilt tripping ourselves and feeling a bit ashamed of like venting. Bro, nothing to be sorry for. Look at how much courage you showed here. Look at how much self-love you showed here by doing something that moves towards or helps you move towards the person that you want to be. This is an act of love. And you might find, as a lot of people who write comments like yours do, when I do these videos, like, brother, we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. By the way, this is what you're paying for if you pay me $200. I fucking go hard, baby. Like, we'll go for like 3 hours if we need to. But I do this long video, and you might find that other people say that this is really helpful and it helped them. And so what you're calling venting and something to be sorry about, like, I'm sorry, I feel a bit ashamed, I feel a bit guilty. This might be a beautiful gift that you gave the rest of us. Like, maybe you're feeling all of this right now. It's funny you say things feel pointless. Right now, maybe the point of your suffering, because I can see that you're suffering, brother. Anytime we spend time down in those low-level emotions like fear, apathy, shame, guilt, all of that, we suffer. Like, those emotions are suffering. And so when we're suffering, it often feels like there's no point to the suffering and that it won't end. But maybe part of the reason why you are suffering right now is so that other people can learn. Maybe you are suffering because you will help other people through your suffering, maybe even yourself. And so I appreciate that, brother. Obviously, I would rather move you towards love and compassion and happiness and away from suffering. But your suffering isn't meaningless. Maybe you're suffering so that other people can learn from you and grow and live their own self-actualized, happy lives. And so I promise you, the suffering that you're feeling right now is not meaningless. It is not without a point, and it is not without purpose. So thank you, not for suffering, but for sharing your suffering. Thank you for being courageous and brave and opening up to all of us, which takes tremendous balls. And thank you for giving yourself a little act of self-love by sharing and giving yourself the opportunity to have me or someone else help you. And obviously, if you want more of an opportunity, hit me up for one of those $200 coaching calls. And any of you that are in the same position or feeling some emotions or struggling or you don't know what you're doing, yeah, hit me up for a call, dude, or guys, and then I can fucking help you. Same as any of you women. I coach some women sometimes. There's a woman in the coaching program right now. Hit me up. I'm right here. I will help as much and as often as I possibly can. If you've been wanting an amazing, awesome, elite sex life, tons of threesomes, plenty of wild adventures and great memories with awesome people, we would love to help you get there. Here's just a little bit of what our coaching clients have achieved in their time in the program. Renee had a threesome in just his second week of coaching, had a woman write him a love letter, and he went on to have sex with 12 women in just 12 weeks of coaching. Corky had his first threesome, slept with 7 amazing women, and made a ton of awesome memories with them. George and Power both had sex with 10 women each in their 12 weeks, had a bunch of wild adventures along the way. Join me and join them by clicking the coaching link in the description below.